It's because it's so stupid.
Because you love rep
the
wheels.
internet doesn't know what rep means or what rep wheels are.
Nope.
They just throw it fucking out there. So, for example, I did a reel. I had the Heritage Kokoro in the background. It was a wheel that was signed by everybody that went to my wedding. I just set it in the background. Immediately, I get the guy, throw that trash-ass rep wheel out of your video before your wife gets home. And I just replied, what is this wheel a replica of? Like one of the most unique wheels that I've seen. What is this wheel a replica of? And we are to this day still waiting for a response.
Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3. It makes Dakota and Joe's very mad that I said that.
I don't know if that's the right
It's
episode.
Season 2, we're in a new spot, and now it's Episode 3. I don't know what to tell you.
You got to stop that.
Okay.
Seasons do be changing.
Ignore the seasons, the episodes that Alex
Next-
says. They're probably
it
completely irrelevant
2 weeks
to what
from
the
now,
title is.
we are
It makes him
launching
happy.
Season 3.
Sure.
New
Yep.
space,
Yeah.
new location, new characters. And today we're talking about a very new character on the field. Let's talk about Dodge dropping off the Hellcat 170 with a fucking helicopter.
Like a freaking boss.
Did you see that?
That was
Yeah,
dope.
well, everyone was sharing around the electric, what was it? I think it was electric Challenger or something that was being made
Yeah,
for
that
a while.
SUV.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, Dodge is dead. Look, they gave up. They rolled over. They're fucking done. And then all of a sudden they're like, American! They drop off fucking Challenger.
Yeah.
Fucking 5,000 horsepower.
1025.
Quad turbos.
Supercharged.
3 V8s.
Damn.
Not that
I
either.
think that's what I read.
Yep,
Well,
that
it's
sounds
pretty-
about right.
It's pretty cool. I do why do you guys think Dodge is the last one kind of just
Because that's
having
Dodge's
that fuck
brand.
you energy?
That's
What
their
they've
brand.
always done.
It does feel good.
They
to
always
see
just
it.
wanted power, and they didn't give a fuck how heavy the car was. And that's Dodge.
And they shoved
Surprised I don't fuck with Dodge more, honestly.
I
Yeah.
feel like the owners do ruin it a little bit. Don't you think?
Dodge
I mean,
owners.
they get bad reps.
They do get pretty bad
They-
reps.
I feel like a lot of the takeover cars are Dodges.
They also are like the Infinities, the
Yes.
G35s. That's probably why like
Ultimas,
G35s are so
Nissans.
cheap and at 350Zs are so goddamn
Yeah.
expensive.
Everyone
now.
just
When-
like dunks on them on social media.
What
It's
is
like
the cap?
every car dealership I know just does memes about like someone coming in with like a fucking 300
Okay.
credit score. winning a Dodge Challenger.
One real question here.
What's up?
Yeah.
Should it be legal to be selling people 1,000 horsepower plus cars, or should there be some qualification? Like, you
That's
don't
true.
fucking drive a fucking space shuttle into space without a little bit of training, right?
Yeah.
The
So
problem
you shouldn't be able to drive a rocket on the street.
Well, the problem is like I don't like regulation, but I also agree. Like I don't want somebody telling me what I can or can't put on my exhaust, you
the
know?
thing
But I
is-
also agree that giving somebody 1,000 horsepower doesn't automatically make them a good driver.
Right.
I'm not worried about you driving the Dodge. I'm not worried about you driving the Dodge.
Thank
I'm
God.
worried about Jimmy Bob with a 300 credit score that somehow financed it for 40% interest. And he's like, yeah, I got myself the Dodge with 1,000 horsepower. Watch me fucking send it off
Yeah.
this off ramp. And then,
Which is exactly what happens.
yes, that's what I'm saying. So there's people that ruin it for the normal people.
The good news is that the Dodge, I mean, at least it's coming with some like traction control and some safety features because I think this
Is it
same
though?
argument would exist if the
you seen
Tesla
Mustangs?
Plaids did not have all the tech stuff as well. It wouldn't be a bunch of people with 300 credit scores and a 400% interest rate getting into crashes. It'd be a bunch of fucking nerds like slamming into the side of highways
see-
because they want to brag it to like
No.
their new
That's
girlfriend
the
in
problem.
Silicon Valley.
The type of people that are buying Teslas,
Plaids.
They never floor.
they're more conservative. They might floor it just to like,
Like, ooh,
whoa,
yeah.
and then they let off.
Yeah.
Done. No more. Maybe show one person once, but
They-
they're not showing off with it. They're not going crazy with their precedent. You feel that? Oh, yeah. Electric.
That was a quick 0 to 40, wasn't it?
yeah, exactly. And that's it. And nobody, Jim Bob from the fucking trailer park isn't worried about that damn Tusla that Elon Musk is selling, all right?
The thing is,
He
I don't
wants
think
that 1,000
Jim
horsepower
Bob from the
Challenger.
trailer park is affording the new Demon.
But that's what I said. He somehow, with his 300 credit score,
That's true.
financed
Yeah, he
it
just
for
financed
40%.
it.
It's going to get repoed in 3 months, but that's 3 months we're all living on the edge, brother.
And that's exactly why we need to stop letting people finance their cars at 40% interest rate.
All right, well,
Completely just took the wind out of that. sale.
Yeah, I mean that is an issue too.
I'm deflated now.
It is an issue.
No, it is funny though when you think about that you can go out, get 1,000 horsepower car.
What's the insurance
This is
like
how
on
you
that?
know. This is how you know the world is so messed up. Like even if you're not into the whole finance stuff, that you can go buy right now. You can go buy 1,000 horsepower car that someone somewhere is probably going to finance for you
Yep.
at like $50,000, $60,000, probably above markup, like
yeah.
above of dealer pricing.
It's gotta
So
be more
it's
than
gonna
that,
it's gonna
right?
be like $150,000 car, I would say.
Oh, easily.
Then on top of that, right? These are the same dealers that are going to mark it up, charge you, get an extra $50,000 from you, and then also get you to finance through them at like a 16%, 17% APR, same as a credit card, on a car that's not worth that the moment it rolls off the lot.
Yeah.
And people are still
fuck yourself.
defending dealerships and saying, well, if we didn't have them, who'd fix the cars? What?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a pretty good point. I don't know anyone else that could possibly do that.
I apologize if I've talked about this multiple times, but I got the opportunity to drive a lot of cars on the track. Challenger was the worst by far.
Thank
I hated it.
Continental for
So,
letting you do that.
Thank you, Continental, for giving me the opportunity to drive.
Continental.
Thank you, Continental.
Thank you, Daddy Connie.
Yeah, so they gave us the opportunity to drive a lot of cars on the track. A lot of different makes and models.
Yeah.
Challenger fucking suck. I'm not afraid
Okay.
to say that.
All right, I'm gonna fight back a little bit just to say that it was like a base model Challenger against like
Well, it was
the
still it was
NSX.
it was like a V8.
yeah, but still like
you need the suspension bits on those cars to like do
the thing
more.
was,
I don't think it was a base model. I think it was SRT.
okay, well, but it still wasn't like a Hellcat or like
There's another. There's
Okay, but it shouldn't need to be a Hellcat.
Okay, here's the
SRT
thing.
is
We're
like a
talking about comparing it to
$60,000
like
car.
an NSX and a Supra and a
Gels.
BMW
Yeah.
M4 competition.
See, here's the
on a
thing
course.
with Dodge. If you buy a $60,000 Dodge or $50,000
Supra, same
Dodge,
price as the Challenger.
I will agree. From like like right now, the Toyota Supra is still probably the best bang for buck car you can buy right now. The B58
Thanks.
Mark V Supra is a great car you can buy. But
I know.
back in like when things were like 50 grand, Dodge put 40 or 35,000 of that 50 into the engine, and then $15,000 somehow had to make the rest of the car. So unless you want to get like good suspension, good tech, some good stuff on the car, you do have to spend like $100,000 on a fucking Dodge.
Okay,
all
listen,
I'm
pal.
saying, all I'm saying,
But you do get
is that
700 horsepower.
in the situation, I wasn't surprised that the Challenger sucked because I agree.
You're
I
right.
hopped in that. I was like, damn,
But-
that was horrible.
Okay, and let me add a little bit of context to the situation.
Dakota
too.
hates Dodges.
No. I went into it super open-minded. I've always liked Challengers. I liked how they looked. I never owned one and I never driven one before. So I went in super open-minded. I wasn't like, oh, great, I got to get in the Challenger. I was like, okay, let's hop in the Challenger, see what this thing's got. It didn't feel fast. It didn't feel like it was comfortable, like
Yeah.
maybe to the extent of like driving a Chrysler 300, probably equivalent of that. But I hated it. I was scared to drive it. I felt so
I saw
fucking
him
far
struggling
back.
behind me.
I felt uncomfortable because it sucked so bad.
Imagine the day when Dodge creates a prototype car and they're like, hey, what if we just made something
That could turn.
that was light
Yeah.
and fast as fuck? And
Yeah.
they're like, now we introduce the Dodge Hellcat C carbon. And it's like a 3,000 pound, 1,000
That'd be
horsepower.
sick.
Yeah, you wouldn't go anywhere because there's no weight to plant it.
I do think
Yeah,
I
that's
do
true.
think the weight actually helps at that.
I
that
agree
point-
100%.
point,
What we were driving, it didn't.
No, it did feel like a freaking
Dude,
boat. Like I know
there
it's
is
a
some-
joke, but they are some big cars.
Yeah.
They are heavy.
It felt like a
the
yacht.
whole thing
Yeah.
rolled like crazy.
There's a lot of body roll in those cars.
Whoa.
You still said the G80 was your favorite one
Oh
out of
my
the whole
God,
group.
Oh,
dude.
by far.
That shit literally, and this is the crazy part too. We were already driving the G80 for days before this. So it wasn't like, oh, this is a new experience. We hopped back in it again after driving the NSX, C8 Corvette, Dodge Challenger, Supra. The G80 M3 had me hooting and hollering and smiling and just giddy, and the confidence level I felt on the track was like no other car I drove. Even to the NSX. I think the NSX was too pricey and too crazy
Yeah.
where I felt nervous. And then the G80 was just like this perfect. So I want one of those cars. I loved it. It was phenomenal. It blew me away. I liked it more than the Supra by far.
I do think BMW's they're doing something right now. I know the design of the 2 Series. I don't really like the new M2 personally.
Oh.
I think it's a little bit more. I like the previous generation more.
I'd rather
so, but
get into the M240, honestly.
Yeah, we got to
Exactly.
autocross the M240i's.
Yeah, the new
That
ones.
shit was fun as fuck. Those cars handled so good.
really,
There's like
Yeah,
a
they're
new
so good.
Miata, but
And, like,
way better.
Yeah, and honestly, like the price point of those right now, not too bad if you can find.
how
them.
much are they?
I think they're going for like super prices because it's got a B58 in it. Like
The thing
it's
is,
very
It's a
similar.
smaller chassis Supra.
The styling is very
Wait,
questionable.
no, are they 2 doors or 4 doors? I think
Two.
2 door. Yeah,
Yeah. So is it smaller than a Supra?
I'd say it's really.
It's got to be
comparable.
smaller.
It looks really compact.
But when
right?
you think about Supras, are kind of small too. I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that's a good question because the BMW M2 competition, the one that Lars has,
Yep.
when that came out,
That's a
Well,
phenomenal.
those are
car.
also great.
everyone,
Yeah.
like unanimously, is like that is the car. That is the driver's
Yeah.
car if you want to go spend $60,000. And it's like I see these M240i's and stuff. I'm surprised it's not another M2 comp, but those haven't really come out yet. The 240i is really that great?
I love the 240i.
I was super impressed. And that one I went in with a negative mindset because I was like, these things are kind of fucking ugly. They look kind of weird, except they come in really sick colors.
The
What's
colors
that-
are
that-
so sick, and the
Fuck, what's it called?
interior. That you're talking about the purple one.
Yeah, what's that color called again?
Is
Here, just keep talking. I'll look it up.
But no, like, because I was kind of saying, when I was like, the overall looks grew on me a lot as we were like kind of driving them throughout the day. I was like, damn, okay, I can get it. And then you hop in the interior, like the stitching is really dope. It's like the M colors, but it's like kind of retro in a way where it's kind of like digitized. Like it was really dope, and it was comfortable, and those things ripped, and like they were super responsive. They were very nimble. I mean,
We were beating the shit
they're
out
literally
of them.
just like, hey, here's a track that you've never driven before. Here's a brand new M240i.
Go as fast as you can.
Go as fast as you can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shit, all right. and like,
And back to back to back.
and
to
like
back,
Dakota
to
said,
back,
like
to
it
back.
was comfortable. Like, sure, at first, I was like kind of nervous, but like after like one lap, I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah, you get a lot of
like,
Start
confidence.
pushing your limits.
I know, I did. I almost flew off the track a little
And,
bit. It was a little scary.
It's called
You literally saw it, put it in your brain, and then
Thunder Night Metallic.
Yeah,
Thunder Night
It's
Metallic.
an amazing color. It's like a new generation midnight purple almost.
Yeah,
Okay,
a little
so-
less chameleon.
So let's do this. Let's break it down like we do in Gran Turismo. We've got obviously the
PP.
tuner,
Oh.
we've got the European, and then we've got the domestic.
Yeah.
When we look at those 3 regions right now, what do we think is the most progressive car in each of those spaces? Let's say 2022. What do you think is the most progressive domestic car of 2022 or 2023 so far? Like
Ooh,
the
domestic. That's tricky.
I personally think so. I'll start domestic. I'll start it off.
because I gotta think on domestic. I think I went for your own JDM.
I love the loudness, right, of the new Hellcat. I think that's super cool. The helicopter dropping it off. It's so on brand, but it
Demon,
doesn't
though.
take the win. Demon, sorry. The C8 Z06. It is.
It is really
It is
cool.
the
Yeah.
best value out there. The thing
Best
eats,
value?
The thing eats pretty much everything else. It's super fast. It's mid-engined. It's domestic. I think it's everything you'd want in a car
mean,
if you could get it.
What about the Cadillac Blackwings?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, as much as I fucking hate GM, they've been coming out with some kind of cool cars.
Yeah, the Blackwing stuff is really cool. I would agree with that too. I think that's super neat. I just like the Z06 platform because when I drove the C8 for the first time, even with all the packages before the Z06 was introduced, it just felt so light on the nose. And I think you guys drove a C8 too while you
yeah,
were
and I
with
fucking
Continental.
hated it.
It was not a great car.
Yeah, when you drive, and I don't know if anybody else has had this experience. If you're listening, let us know. But the C8 Z06, you have to be so feathered on the brake constantly to keep the traction on the front of those tires as you're going through turns. The moment
Yeah,
you
it
start
was
to
pushing a lot.
yeah, the moment you start to throttle steer anything, it just feels like you don't even have front wheels on the car.
No.
Yeah.
For some reason or another. So when I saw the Z06 and I saw that they added a bunch of aero to keep that nose just planted on the ground, I was like, that has to have fixed a lot of what I felt when I was driving
Better
it at Ron
change that
Fellows.
dumbass steering wheel too.
Yeah, the steering wheel's
Yeah.
a little silly, but I didn't mind. I know a lot of people
Also,
hate it,
the
but
flashers are up here.
the buttons,
Yeah.
I found them very ergonomic. It took me like 20 seconds to
this
learn
part
where
of the
everything
car,
was.
Fine. Here and here sucked.
yeah, I hated the buttons originally. I didn't like that weird design of making them all individual, and I would say I'm indifferent. I don't like that.
You know what had?
Not a-
You know what car from there did have a weird like interface?
Kia Soul.
No, the NSX.
Oh,
See,
that one was interesting.
I love that the NSX is.
I liked the NSX.
is
I did too,
so
but it was
weird.
it took me a second to figure out how the fuck to put it in drive.
Yeah, I love that the NSX is just weird enough to where I think it's going to sit in the same exact spot the first generation sat. We're in 10 years, people are going to be buying NSXs because they were that experimental Acura at the time, very interesting, very weird. Nobody really thought it had any sauce, and then all of a sudden, everybody's going to want one. I just think that's going to be the case because they're powerful, right? They're hybrid powered.
Well, let's bring this back a little bit. What did you think for domestic car?
Oh yeah,
That's the most
Yeah,
progressive.
I mean, it's tough to say. I don't really know much about the C8. I mean, the Blackwing's pretty cool. Again, it's really been hit by the dealer markup and availability.
Yeah, the price
shit.
is crazy.
So it's really hard to
honestly.
say. But I mean, with Ford coming out with the new Mustangs and stuff, those things are pretty rowdy.
the S650s,
Yeah, the S650, and then coming off the success of the S550.
which was also a really good platform.
I
Yeah.
kind of have to give it to Ford on that one.
What do you think, Dakota? Did you say Blackwing?
Blackwing, I guess. So it's just the most interesting one that I see. And after doing some digging into it, I was like, damn, I'm actually really impressed. We got to see some in person. I haven't had the ability to drive one or ride in one. So I guess I can't speak fully. But with domestics, it's tough. I feel like they're kind of sleeping. They're just all about SUVs and trucks at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing, like I said, Dodge was nah, here's a 1,000 horsepower car. That's sick, but
I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Though.
What about-
it's cool, but I would never own that. I don't.
What
have
about
any desire.
European?
The BMWs? The new M3 M4 platform I think is absolutely insane. And for
G80,
you
G82 are
that
killing it.
can't get over the looks, fucking blindfold yourself, walk up to the car, get in, take the blindfold off, go drive it. You will shit yourself because they killed it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It feels so balanced. The power is so good. It comes on, it brakes, it feels right when you're driving it. They killed it. I would say that all day.
What do you think? Same thing?
Yeah, 100% all day.
I didn't really get into much European cars in the past year and a half, so I'm only going off of what I've seen. I would say the new G80s I've heard nothing but fantastic things about. I did really enjoy the release of the new GT3 RS and what they did with bringing the aero and the swan neck wing, and they revolutionized.
That's a tough car to beat. Yeah.
They revolutionized the design and they went full aero with it. And I think we're going to see some crazy numbers from people out with those cars. And then I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot more of what Porsche just did with their GT3 RS hit a lot of these domestic cars. They're going to bring a bunch more aero. You're going to see swan neck
Think
wings.
so for domestics?
I think so. I think when you start looking at things like the Camaro ZR1s the ZL1s and the ZR1s and some of these high performance domestic cars where they get a lot of their aero, I do think they take a lot of design elements from their European counterparts. And Porsche GT3 RS is the only super wild production aeroed car out there right now. And the GT4 RS.
Yeah. I would love to agree with you. I just don't know if I could see it. I'd love to see it. I don't know if
Because
I
the ZL...
No, I agree. The Focus ST and RS was designed in Europe.
Yeah.
So you're right. They do take their design cues. That's where they're looking.
Right.
Yeah. What about Japanese tuner?
A Honda.
Honda Type R?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you say that?
I mean, because they heard nothing but fantastic things. Again, sucks that you can't really fucking get your hands on them. I would say it's close to Toyota and what they're doing with the GR stuff.
That's what I was going to
But
say.
I've just heard perfect things about the Type R.
I see the GR86 taking over right now.
Yeah.
It's
That's a close
affordable. They refined everything they needed to from the previous FRS BRZ stage. And besides, I guess we're having a little bit of issues with oil and stuff like that going
typical.
on. But
Subaru
regardless,
things.
it is an amazing looking car. It looks so good. It's at a price point that anyone can get into. And it's just the perfect platform to mod. It's perfect for tuner culture.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff carried over from the previous generation too, which helped right away. So
Yeah.
Your modification support was almost
it's
plug and play.
huge, Yeah.
I remember when we were at Abisu, they're like, just get a GR86.
Yeah.
Just you can take the stuff from your F series, FT, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, FT,
FT86.
yeah.
You can get it from the FT86 and just put it in the GR86, and
Yeah,
you're 90% of the way
for the
there.
most part, it transfers over really well, and the cars are amazing.
Yeah.
I love those cars.
I would say I would agree with you if the dealers weren't preventing
I know,
access
that is
to the car.
only
Well, except the
downside.
GR86, those are available.
That's that's why I would say
they're getting tougher, though.
Yeah, but for me, I would say the GR86 is the best car.
Oh,
of the last
because
year and
of
a half.
the Type R.
Because of the availability and because
The
the Type R is
Corolla.
locked behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Nissan Z.
Now I did hear this
I
is
haven't
kind of
heard-
I haven't heard much good things about the Z. I'm not.
So I'm really excited because I'm working with Grease Monkey Games to try and get a Nissan Z, which has been
luck.
proven to be very, very
Yeah,
difficult.
that
But
shit's
if
crazy.
it is, I promise to give my unbiased feedback on the car, even though I won't be paying for it and it's completely sponsored.
All right, I want Dakota to drive it because he's been talking a lot of smack about that car.
Who has?
I have.
I don't know. I feel like we all kind of have.
Yeah,
Like,
I just all I've said
it's
about it
because-
is similar to what
Yeah.
you said. I just haven't heard amazing
Yeah.
things from the people that I got to talk to that have driven it.
It-
I seen it. I liked how it looked.
It's
Good-looking
just
car.
it's just tough because I think Nissan is still like they do a lot of the same thing Toyota does with like refining. But their Toyota had Scion to kind of push it forward to say, hey, you need to get more innovative. You need to get more progressive.
Yeah.
Start taking more chances.
Yeah.
You know, and then when they brought Scion back in, they're like, okay, let's do that. And then the GR86 and some of that development that from the FT series came into Toyota. And now you see some really cool progressive stuff from Toyota, but they weren't always that way. And I'm not sure, I'm hopeful, but I don't know if Nissan has that like progressive push behind it right now like Toyota does. And I think that's where you see the difference. Honda's always going to make the Type R. They're never going to stop. But what is progressing or pushing Honda a ton? Their racing series and I think stuff like that. Toyota is a lot of sales and also they're heavily invested in racing. Nissan is very heavily invested in racing in Japan. But I don't know if we're seeing a much external stuff come from that in Nissan. I think that's why sometimes it's a little bit slower. But it is a twin turbo, V6. So hopefully something cool can come from it. I know the people that do have them haven't done a lot with them. Like
I just don't think there's much available yet.
so they're just kind of holding on to them and seeing what happens. I think the GR86 is a
Like you
bang
can do
on
like
car.
your turbo and like intercooler upgrades, like
because your Infinity
throw-
stuff.
What is like the
Bolt-ons,
AMS
yeah.
stuff? Like you can throw all that stuff on, and then after that, it's like
Now what?
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you want to wide body it?
hurry up and wait
Here
right
you go.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the infatuation with the wide bodies. I don't want a
Yeah,
wide
I'm not
body
really
ever.
there yet either. I've seen some good
Yeah.
looking wide body
Yeah.
cars. I personally don't.
My favorite
This
Z
guy-
my favorite Z I ever saw for sale actually was yesterday. Get this. He was selling a 2023 Nissan Z because we were looking for one. So I was looking at the marketplace and there's one for sale. You got to let me finish this whole story.
No.
$123,000 for a wide body Nissan Z. It had like 13 to 15 aftermarket parts: intake, tune, exhaust, wheels, tires, coils, and then it had this wide body kit that he said was like 35,000. Here's the best part. Over 70% of the parts had this little notation on it. Parts not yet installed will come with car. At
What the-
$123,000, over half of the parts weren't even on the car, and he was going to sell it with the car.
fucking cars that you could buy for that
You
money.
could buy a fucking GTR for that money.
You buy a lot.
I was
for
literally
that money.
comparing a proto spec Z that is available, like 72, 75-ish thousand right now. I'm like, that is Dodge Viper SRT territory.
Yeah.
Early 2000s Viper territory. At least I'd wrap myself around a tree instead of waiting for a goddamn car at that price
Yeah.
I
point.
don't know. I see
That's insane.
the Nissan Z once this hype shit dies out and they're just available and they're everywhere as long as they keep producing them. It just being very similar to the 370Z platform.
I mean, it's already being
you see it,
compared
you're like,
so
cool.
much to
There
it.
is a community behind it, but I don't see it like blowing up and like being the next
Yeah.
big
The-
thing.
I think the only thing really crazy about the new Z is that it comes factory turbocharged. That's the only differentiator here.
The cool thing is that I will say is that Nissans do have a lineage, and I would say a pretty good track history though, of all of their cars being well supported outside of their weird thing with the 300ZX. But even that was kind of supported. It just was a little bit too expensive. But like
Right.
S chassis, all super well supported. The 350Zs, all super well supported. 370s, all super well supported. They never stopped making them for like a decade. So hopefully when the price does come down, it'll actually be a really great car to jump into. It's such a high price point right now for a lot of people.
It's
silly.
insane.
You know? So with that being said, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about what, Dakota? All right. Sounds great. We'll see you guys in just a minute.
All right, welcome back. We got another subject for you. We're going to be talking about, do certain things in the automotive industry deserve the hate that they get? And there's a lot of things to talk about here. And we can hop around, whatever you guys are feeling. But just thinking about, like, there's so much shit. Civics. Dealerships.
Uh.
Air suspension.
Oof.
Replica wheels.
Mm.
Shitty tires.
Shitty
Mm.
people. There's a lot to go on here. So, Alex, what's your thoughts? What's your hot take? What's something that gets a lot of hate in the industry? Just say it, and then let's discuss.
Well, I think the one that we're probably most experienced with is rep wheels.
Oh,
shit.
All right, we're going into that.
I think that's a good one. I think another one is...
No.
We want to stay with the rep wheels?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's knock it off.
Everyone's
rip it
on
off
the
like
edge
a
of their
Band-Aid.
seats right now.
Yeah,
Well-
well, here's the thing is because somehow with doing this, I feel like I've gained this notoriety of I love rep wheels and everyone should buy rep
You
wheels.
do. You've said it multiple times.
I don't. Yeah, maybe I
can't get
have
this guy to
honestly. Now that I
stop
think about it.
saying
Yeah, stop buy. So you
Well,
just
here's
keep
the
telling
ultimate
people to
truth.
buy AV6s.
Here's the truth. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what wheels you run. Go hog wild on whatever set of wheels you want. What you don't know is every goddamn wheel has to be tested before it gets on the road, and they're not just selling complete shit. Yes, it is shitty that companies take a design, copy it to a fucking T, and sell it for less money, undercutting the original designer. That is shitty. I agree. Other than that, it's some 16-year-old kid that can't afford 3-piece work wheels that are $6,000 and take 8 months to get. They just want to put new wheels on their car and have it look cool, and they have fucking $400 and they're figuring out how to get the other $200 so that they can get the AV6s and have a wheel that looks like the wheel they dream of getting one day.
I think
And I don't care if they do that.
you have to be careful too, because I would say like the design elements I think is one whole element of that argument.
Yeah.
But there's real misinformation in the aftermarket wheel space. There are people that will stamp, reputable companies that will stamp JWL and VIA on their wheel molds that are not JWL and VIA tested, because there's actually no regulation that says that you can't have that stamp on your wheel even if it's not certified. That whole thing, that thing you see on the lip that says it's not a legal thing. I could go make a wheel. It could not be JWL VIA. I could put that on a lip, and nobody could tell me that I can't.
All right.
So people are they're
Call out the
fixating
brand.
on the
Yeah.
wrong.
Who is it?
Call out the brand.
one.
Who was it?
I'm
Call
not
out the
doing
brand.
it.
Why? I will.
I'm not doing
You
it.
gotta
Whisper
lose.
it to me. I'll say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Whisper it in the mic
Okay.
so I can hear it.
I have to confirm quickly to make sure that I can say it.
Okay. Are you going to talk to your lawyers?
No, well, probably not a bad idea. No.
Blue ball in
Here's what I can say.
I honestly didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's the same thing, TUV testing, which is German wheel certification testing. That was
That's
something
strict.
that was something that we wanted to do
Right.
at one point. And when we actually asked at that time if that was something that we could get tested, the response was, we're not, and I'm keeping this as generic as possible because it didn't happen, we didn't do it. But there are factories overseas that will tell you, we'll get it tested. And they do not test it.
No.
And they just put that shit on your wheel and they'll send it up. They don't even think twice, right? To get a wheel tested by the TUV, requires you to take the wheel to a certified testing facility over there, get it scraped, scrubbed, stamped, steeled, cut up, bit into pieces multiple times, multiple physical sets over a very long period of time to get TUV tested. There's only like 3 wheel brands I know that are up to date on their TUV.
I remember
testing.
you sent me all that stuff.
And BBS
to,
is one of
take
them.
a look at. And you're like, hey, we need to get these TUV tested. And you sent me the shit. I'm like, we are not fucking doing this. Like,
It was a very
we're just not selling over there.
All right, I got one thing, and I'm sorry if I say this a lot, but it needs to be said multiple times because it's not getting through to people. Because I just had this fucking comment on my video, and I try to not let comments get me mad, and I'd say 90% of the time I don't give a shit about them at all. But this one irks me, and I'll probably get more of it, and I don't care. It's because it's so stupid.
Because you love rep
the
wheels.
internet doesn't know what rep means or what rep wheels are.
Nope.
They just throw it fucking out there. So, for example, I did a reel. I had the Heritage Kokoro in the background. It was a wheel that was signed by everybody that went to my wedding. I just set it in the background. Immediately, I get the guy, throw that trash-ass rep wheel out of your video before your wife gets home. And I just replied, what is this wheel a replica of? Like one of the most unique wheels that I've seen. What is this wheel a replica of? And we are to this day still waiting for a response because they don't fucking know.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that drives me nuts because I did a video where I was talking about swapping out my wheels on the 430 over to the BBS CIRs. And somebody wrote a comment on it and said, thank God you got those rep-ass wheels off your car. And I'm curious because there are rep wheels out there. There are rep wheel designs.
Yes,
but I
yeah,
always like to see, because if you have the audacity to make that stupid fucking claim, then you need to know what they're a rep of.
Yeah.
If you claim to be this gatekeeper of wheel knowledge, my immediate response was same as you. What's the
What's it a
design a rep
replica
of?
Yeah.
No answer.
Nope.
And that's the thing that boggles my mind, is because people only believe that there are certain wheels that are original.
Yes.
If it's work, all of them are original. If it's
Yeah.
SSR, all of them are original. If it's Volk, all of them are original. It's like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news again.
They've definitely
But work
pulled some
has
inspiration.
work has ripped off designs from domestic wheel companies. SSR has ripped off designs from work. There have been Volk has ripped off designs from everyone. Everybody rips off just because it's located in Japan does not make it exclusive to the idea of saying,
If it's
hey,
not made in Japan, it's a rep.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck.
and it's like, if you want to see the closest and most accurate true story, look at Work Wheels copying 1552's design in 2016 and 2017 that they did. They released 4 wheel designs. They copied 1552 to a fucking T, called them something different, only sold them in Japan. Finally, it got news in the United States, and they're like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? And then Work was like, oh shit, never mind. And then they stopped making the wheel.
And let it be known, I'm not sitting here defending rep wheels.
Yes, you
Again,
are.
I don't
Yes,
give
you
a
are.
shit.
Dakota
The
loves
point-
rep wheels.
The point is, get yourself fucking educated before you open up your greasy mouth, all right? I'm sick of
Ooh.
your uneducated ass just talking random mouth diarrhea on the internet and then getting all the 14-year-olds riled up that there's only one real wheel ever made and the rest are replicas. Like Alex, everyone has fucking
Yeah.
got designs.
If
It's
you-
impossible to do 3 million more designs on a circle.
Yeah, if you
They've all
want
been fucking done.
if you want to spend a lot of money on a set of wheels, I'm here for you. If you want to
Yeah.
spend not a lot of money on wheels, I'm here for you. I will never lie about what I think of where the design came from, or if I think it's a replica, or if I think it's even inspired by, because I do think there's a difference between fake, which is a 1-for-1 copy of brand and model, then you have rep, which is a very close, or very near design of like the spokes and the hub and the mounting surface. You got that. And then you have, I think, inspired, which is like you can see an element of like some sort of design cue, and then you have original. And there are wheels in all of those spaces, because like you start getting pretty neat, because then all of a sudden people are selective, right? They're selective about the rep wheel conversation. Kanse.
Right.
Rep
They're
or
rep-
inspired.
Ooh.
Rep or inspired.
I mean,
I
Are
would
they
say
fake?
inspired because they're OEM takes for the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't think all the designs are, but most part, they're OEM designs that are inspired and offered in sizes you couldn't get on those OEM specs.
So does
so,
that
like-
make it a rep wheel, or does that make it inspired by? Because the wheel is made in a size and a design and in an element that it was not previously created in.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It is inspired, but I would say just by saying it would still, I
So-
guess, be in a sense a replica.
the way I look at it, and I know I've said this before, I believe on the podcast. It's like because there's so many different ways to go about it. It's like you say Kansei, for instance, and we're talking about, okay, well, they're inspired from like some of the OEM designs, you know, but it's like, but their wheels are rotary forged. But then, you can say, well, but this one looks a lot like that. And it's like the conversation is so fucking muddy and blurry for all of these wheel brands.
Yeah.
And like what it really comes down to is like, if you buy fucking AV6s or you buy T37s, who cares? But just understand that you bought fucking AV6s and you bought fucking T37s.
Yeah,
No
and
no more, no less.
Yeah.
All right? Like that is it. But you bought AV6s because what you could afford. Stay in your fucking lane. Don't go tell me that those are better than the T37s because they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say you bought T37s, congratulations. You bought T37s, but don't go bragging how you're fucking better than everybody else.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Dakota. So sick of you bragging about your T37s all the time.
I do
No, but
think there's
like-
also the discussion though that I will give credit to the real wheels, and I'm part of it too a little bit, where it's like, if you want to support those brands, buy original. That's what people say. It's like, well, you're taking away money from the people that put all the R&D into blah blah blah.
Says
blah,
the fourth owner of the wheels.
yeah, and it's like, okay, and that's exactly what I was gonna
That are
say too. Where
fatigued
it's like,
and cracked and,
I hear you, and I understand that, and I think that's a very good hill for you to die on. There's going to be some additional things that you're going to want to keep in mind, though, because buying secondhand wheels does not automatically get you through the gates. If you want to be a real wheel snob, you need to pony up. You need to grab $4,500, and you need to go buy real new wheels.
Damn.
Get them out of the box.
Wait, what about tires?
And you have to get good tires. So you actually have to spend about $6,000 to $7,000. That puts you on top of the hill because, number one, if you're buying offhand real wheels, multi-piece, and they've had color changes or they've been rebeaded or they've been resealed, anytime that wheel is getting taken apart, put back together, painted, sanded, powder coated, anytime you are changing the heat cycles of the wheel, anytime you're putting additional stress, you're taking the stress off, you're putting the stress back on, anytime that you're stressing any of that hardware, you are losing the integrity of the wheel, which doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of 20, 30, and 40 years of
some
abuse,
of these wheels are getting old now.
those wheels are not meant to last that long. And you can talk to work and you can talk to BBS. And really, BBS is the only company that will say, if it is our wheel and we have maintained it for a period of time, we will tell you after a while, you should get new wheels. Because you can't keep fucking with the wheel over and over and over and expect the metal, like, what do they call it? Metallurgy?
Molasses.
Metallurgy?
Metallurgy.
That gets all
That's
fucking
a
weird.
word?
It's all weird. Especially when you powder coat. Powder coating is the worst thing you can do to your wheels.
I've done that. I've done that to my reps. But that's the thing, right? Like, I think you evolve as a car enthusiast, and that's why, like, depending how the person acts with their replica wheels, if they're going around,
that is the biggest thing.
The people that take their replica wheels and put the BBS center caps
Fuck
in them,
those kids.
that's disgusting.
Yes.
You should feel bad. You should feel fucking
100 bet,
terrible
100
for what
bet.
you did. That's gross. Stop it. All right. But the kid that just wants to get a set of wheels and saved up all of his fucking money to just change the look of his car so he can make it a little unique, go buck wild, brother. I don't care. But now, as I've evolved, because I've bought T37 reps when I was 16 years old, because there was no other bolt pattern for my Cobalt SS, and I didn't have $4,000.
Yep.
Would I do it now? Would I buy a set of Avid 1 AV6s or JNCs or Oddhon? Fuck no. No, I have no desire to do that. Now I have the ability to save up. I have other wheels that I can liquidate and sell, and I can get the ones that I want. And now it's appropriate for me to get the wheels that I want. But I'm not going to go be a snob to some dude that bought his first or second set of wheels. I truly
think that's the biggest thing. It's how you act with your wheel. Like, I don't give a, I could
the real wheel and fake wheel people.
Exactly.
Some of them are
that's
such
what I'm saying.
dickheads.
Like the whole argument itself is just so stupid.
Yeah.
Like
I
don't get it.
do think that, like, it's important for you to take pride in how you modify your vehicle and what
Absolutely.
parts you have. And if you take pride in buying original, authentic parts, I think that is awesome. Good for
But if you fucking take it personally that someone just bought their first wheels for $700 and they're really happy about it, and you take that shit to heart and you get offended about it, I think you need to rethink a couple things in your life, bud.
Yeah, there's two types of people in this world. There's people that think that there's not enough fish in the sea, and then there's people that think that there's too much fish in the sea. And it's like a weird analogy, but there's the people that try to live like, if you buy a set of fake wheels, that's taking away from me and my perspective of the automotive industry buying original, authentic wheels. You have done me a disservice by doing that, and there's only 100 people that are going to buy wheels. You took that money that could have gone to this company and went to that company.
Fuck,
and then there's other people that are like, no, there's enough fish in the sea for everyone. There's going to be people that are going to go this way or this way or this way or this way. And I like to lean towards the latter. Now, it's really important that you try not to fake, like, that one is the other. That is important. And I do agree. If you're switching out center caps, that's a shitty thing to do. If you're putting the Volk TE37 sticker, that's fucking bullshit. And, like, but I would also say, you know, if you're running some Koenig hypergrams and you're drifting that thing around and you're having fun and you're using your wheels, nobody should really be talking shit about your setup because you're out there using your car. You're already a level above the people that don't use their car. Like, people that don't use their car and just show it off, I still think sometimes there's this hierarchy, and the moment that you start using and abusing your car, you start to lift, I think, just a little bit above those people because you're using your car.
Yeah,
you're at the track. You're having fun with it.
Like you said, it's this hierarchy that comes in. Unfortunately, with the car community, a lot of it is the need for people to feel like they're above
Yep.
the person next to them. And I don't get why it has to be that. And it comes with everything. It comes with the trim of the car you drive, the modifications you do, and what you do with the car. And for some reason, everyone has to have the need to just feel like they have to one-up the person they're standing next to. And I don't think it needs to be that. And I'm not trying to be this cornball fucker, but like, just do what you want to do with the car. You want to slam on its nuts, have fucking negative 12 degrees of camber? I don't care. Go do that. You want to buy rep wheels? Sure, that's your car. You can do that. I'm not going to buy them. You can buy them.
Yeah.
That's my take. All right, so do replica wheels get the hate that they deserve in the car community? Is it too much? Is it too less? Where do you think?
I think my belief is that the criticism towards the wheel itself, replica wheels themselves, I think is appropriate. I think that the amount of sometimes criticism that brands receive when they release a new wheel, that the audience going after it and trying to make sure that companies are trying to progress wheel designs, I think that's a good thing. I don't mind that audiences are critical of when new wheels get released. When the criticism is a personal attack towards the owners and is trying to tear people down and somehow make them feel inferior, that I think it needs to die. That stuff I think is the worst thing that you can do to an inspiring enthusiast, because if they jump out of the audience, if they jump out of the community, as a whole, we're kind of fucked. We can teach and educate, but if you scare and belittle, they leave the scene and they're gone forever.
And then you're like, why are there no new car enthusiasts?
Yeah, why don't
What
they make sports cars anymore? They just make SUVs. It's like, well, because of you, asshole. That's why. So that's what I think. I think the criticism on the companies is appropriate.
Yes, 100%.
I don't think the overt criticism and sometimes cynicism on people to try and belittle them, I don't think that's okay.
I think sometimes it's deserved in rare circumstances, because there's some
like you
dickheads
said,
out there.
It comes down to how you act with it.
All right, yeah, Joel's take on.
Yeah, no, I'm with Alex 100% on that one. And I think, what's important too is that, I know we've seen it, companies drop a new wheel, and it's very, very, like, obviously inspired or replicated of some design. And when they just try to, and when it's always the work, it's always the fucking work Kiwami.
Or T37. It's like one or the other.
And it's like, and then they'll try, no. This thing is slightly different.
Yeah.
The center cap is different. It's like, okay, they try to defend it.
By nature.
And I get it, right? Like, I get it. Like, companies have to defend it. But it's like, I see that stuff, and it's just a little weird, and it puts a little sour taste in my mouth, especially when they get like kind of nasty in the comment. We've seen some companies kind of fire back in a not so great way
I've
on
seen
social
that.
media, and it's like, okay, all right, chill. Like I know
it goes
you gotta
both
back
ways.
your brand, but like I think it's appropriate in the sense of like looking at it, like you said, as like looking at it as a brand. They are making the wheel instead of looking at it as like, oh, you bought that, you idiot, you stupid.
Yeah,
Like-
because 9 times out of 10, and I'm sorry, Dakota can say, but it's like a lot of people, their first purchase or even their second purchase set of wheels, they don't know why they would even want to buy real wheels.
Yeah, no, they have no idea.
I would even argue that the people that buy their first set of real wheels, like real wheels, they don't know why they're even buying it. They're just buying VSKFs because the internet told them to. They're just buying lipped works because everybody else gave them enough shit so that when they went to stance their Subaru, they bought VSKFs. They bought, they bought Meisters for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know why. They have no reason as to why they bought. They bought it in a standard spec wheel size that they can get in a one-piece. They bought an 18 by 9.5 plus 22, and it's like, why'd you buy a 3-piece wheel? That's a one-piece wheel size. And it's like, oh, I don't know, because I just wanted a real wheel. So there is some of that, too. There's a lot of, I think, ignorance in that space. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with both what you guys are saying. And, yeah, I think it comes down to kind of what you're saying with the companies. It's more like, I don't wish this, I kind of wish this, that there was some way that like a design could be copyrighted in the same way that like music or videos or media can be copyrighted, so that way it would force these cheaper cast wheel brands to just have to come up with a design, because right now there's nothing for them to it's so much easier to like, this looks good, copy, done.
And the good news is, too, there is actually an international copywriting process for wheel designs. It is in Japan, and it is in the United States. And you can file it nationally, or you can file it internationally. The problem is that the actual enforcement of that regulation is so terrible that it takes like 7 to 9 years to actually close out a suit if you claim that
I can't
somebody
believe
else
it
is
takes that
taking your
long
design.
because I've seen. I don't want to fuck up the brand because this is pretty. It was Oddhon or JNC. I can't remember, but on their website,
It was JNC.
JNC,
Yeah.
they literally just used photos of the work.
I saw
wheels
that.
are-
I remember
it would
that.
literally say work on the wheel. Like they didn't even take the time
No.
to take their own photos of their own product.
There are
That's next level fucking.
the other thing that's really funny about this is that aftermarket wheel brands have gotten sued by wheel manufacturers, and the most recent one I think would be Varstoen. I'm not too sure, but I think it was either
they're out of
Varstoen.
business.
Yeah, they're out of business because BMW sued them.
Really?
Yeah, because they
That
stole.
was my first rep wheels, by the way. Varstone ES2s.
Yeah, because and I think it was Varstoen. Don't quote me on it. We'll put it in the description if we're wrong. But I'm like 80% sure it's Varstoen. And BMW sued the living shit out of them. And it took them like a year to just sack all the money out of and the brand just disappeared.
Because they copied like a BMW OEM wheel design.
Because BMW found out and they're like,
Oh.
we're just gonna use them as an example. Poof, into the ground, and then just
Annihilates
went
them?
on.
Damn.
So I know for a fact that there is a process when coming up with new wheel designs that you can go through if you want to get like, a patent for it. Now, a patent isn't the same as copyright. It expires, all that sort of stuff. The patent really isn't much of anything other than just like, hey, is this like something else? Like, can we actually, just do this without any
Gotcha.
worry? So, with that, it was a process of like, when you submit a patent or design for a patent or whatever, like they go through it, they have like an actual sketch artist that comes and looks at what your design is. They'll take like if you have like a schematic, 3D drawing, all that kind of stuff, and they'll draw it out, and they'll draw it out piece by piece, and they'll compare it. And we would give them references to like a whole plethora of things, like this is what we're most concerned about, that kind of stuff, and they would compare it. And if it was like within like a certain percentage, they'd be like, they would flag and say like, hey, we can't guarantee that this would, hold up, or we can't guarantee this would, pass a patent. So like there are things that you can do and companies can do and probably should do,
But they don't.
Gotcha.
And that's where I think we were talking about like, well, what is something like an AV6 doing? Like, how are they able to get by it? And that's
just fucking do it.
because they're just doing it, and Volk isn't doing anything about it. You see, that's the really tricky thing here that you have to remember too. These Japanese wheel companies, they could be doing something. They're choosing not to. They're not doing anything about the cop. So a lot of times, if something like this were to go to court, right, the very first thing the court's going to say is, why are you choosing to enforce it now? And they're going to say, well, because we just got aware of it. Well, you need to be consistently enforcing. You need to be consistently enforcing things that you have IP ownership on if you want it to be taken seriously. So I do think there is an element of like manufacturer responsibility to uphold your brand pedigree as much as the people that are buying your product. And if you're not doing that, that either means that you don't care or you don't know how to. And I truthfully think with how long Work's been in business and that company being as awesome as it is, I just don't think they're worried about it. They're just making their own stuff. They're making their own wheels, and they don't really care.
Yeah.
If anything, they'd probably find it a little bit flattering because people are like, yeah, we are the real one, like come by us when you're ready. We're going to spend, a lot of money on us. Like, I mean, shit, I don't think they care.
Yeah. I wouldn't be that surprised if Work was like, yeah, we don't do anything about it because people know better. They know that we're the
But
company.
like, if anything, this solidifies us as a better brand.
Yeah.
Like, the more it happens.
For sure.
Yeah. If you want to really flex on the kids, if you want to really flex at the local car show, here's what you do. Get yourself some wide-ass wheels that are custom built for you that are one piece. Instead of buying basic-ass 18 9.5 plus 22 3-piece wheels. If you can get proper fitment on a custom-built one-piece forged wheel, I think that's the coolest fucking thing in the
And they're
world.
like 50 pounds later.
And they're
That's
massively
true. Yeah. Multi-piece,
lightweight.
a single piece, the weight difference is
Huge.
buku nuts.
With that being said, we're going to take a short break from that very hot conversation. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a couple more exciting things. We're all sweating right now. All right, so we are back with part 3, where we're continuing to talk about this conversation because I do think it's worth some additional dialogue. Obviously, we're pretty well familiar in the wheel space.
Yeah, we brought up reps and we just talked about it for 25 minutes.
but what other brands or things, Dakota, do you think really are either getting too much hate or not enough hate, right? That's kind of what we were talking about.
Yeah, let's think in the car community here. I mean, honestly, it's kind of cliche. Subarus, I don't think they get enough hate. Civics, I think, get too much hate. But I think it's calmed down a little bit with the Type R's coming out and swinging their big dicks.
I haven't heard much shade on the Honda game.
Well, it's still the memes. You still get the memes of the guys with their typical Civics. But what's happening, I think, is like now old Civics are cool because there's barely any left.
Yeah.
The ones that were Rice Rockets are completely just in shambles, and they're dead.
Mhm.
The ones that are left are ones that were taken care of and actually nice. So I think we're getting this flip of the script, and Civics now aren't fucking $5,000 MSRP.
Nope.
They're 20, 30 MSRP, 20 grand, 30 grand.
The 40 grand markup.
So it's like, I don't know if they're necessarily, I mean, I'm talking the base model Civics, and the base model Civics, or sorry, I was talking about the Civic Si. They're like, well, no, Max
they're-
bought a new
yeah.
Civic base model. That shit was like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
40
all
grand.
Fucked. It's
Yeah.
all fucked.
Yeah, it's
So
the same.
you can't price that out right
There
away.
is no, the only budget platform out there right now is Hyundai and Kia. They really are the last budget, and
You
Volkswagen.
love them.
Are you
Volkswagen.
talking shit about Volkswagen?
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. The
Why
budget.
do you hate them so much?
I like Volkswagen more than Hyundai and Kia.
I don't know what that says because you hate those brands.
Yeah, you really hate
It's not that I
talk
hate
about
them
every podcast.
I don't talk about them
in a
every
negative
podcast,
way.
but I do bring them up in a light of sorts. Okay, I learned something new about Hyundai just like a
All right.
couple days ago, but we're not going to talk about it.
200 likes on this video, and we get Alex to buy a Hyundai.
That's it. Just 200 likes. That's all.
Yep.
That's a pretty
Next
low
car.
target.
Fuck the Z. Fuck the GR86. Alex getting a Sonata.
I got some.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that those cheap steering wheels don't get enough hate. I see so many people go out and
Yes.
buy cheap steering wheels, and it's like, okay,
What happened to the proper hatred if it wasn't a Momo?
right? No, and not even that. It's just like, it's
Yeah.
like, if it's for, like, I get the whole, like, the show scene had a huge, I would say, inspiration into that, where everyone was just buying, like, crazy wheels, and, like, you had, like, all these brands come aboard making, like, show wheels, and that's fine. Okay, if, like, your showing car, even I still probably wouldn't put one in my car, but, like, you still have all of those brands coming out making, like, show wheels and stuff like that. But the problem is that they're starting to find their way into, like, drift cars and, like, motorsports.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And things like that, and then you see the videos of the people going drifting for the first time,
Shit
and the
break.
whole thing comes flying up, and you have this fucking razor blade
Yeah.
Yes.
spinning at your fucking kneecaps. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
face.
And there's no
yeah.
regulation.
There's
for it.
none. That's
Yeah,
the
there's
thing.
no-
We
That is
talked about,
insane.
we
I've-
talked about like cheap wheels. Like they're mass produced. Like it's a very regulated thing. They have to pass certain tests. They have to pass certain. I don't think that there's that for steering wheels.
Yeah, and the thing with that too is like the impact a lot of times is what causes even like a poor wheel to shatter and break, right? But with like a steering wheel, it's almost like what do you call it? Like rotational stress, because the steering wheel is spinning from side to side, and what happens is people catch it, and the amount of force in the steering wheel and the hub is actually causing the spokes or whatever it is that you want to call it on the steering wheel to bend, and then they lose their integrity, and then you rip it around another corner, they spin the other way, you grab it, and they snap and they break, and the whole wheel will just break right off.
But it goes, bing.
And that's the quick releases, which is another thing too, where like you'll have the whole wheel just fly off, and then you're like, oh Jesus Christ! But like I'm talking about where the steering wheel actually breaks, and you actually have
Yeah,
like,
I've seen that. I've seen that.
metal knives thrown around.
I've
in
just
your-
never been big on quick release steering wheels or any aftermarket steering wheel that you lose your controls and airbags. I've never been into that.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think there's some really badass ones, and there's ones where it's like, damn, like Nardi's, there's some like clean wheels that just look dope, and it's like that would be cool, but it's not a race car. I want my airbag, and fucking I want the controls on my steering wheel.
and
Like I have an aftermarket steering wheel in my Supra, but it
took everything.
retained
Yeah.
the core and everything.
Yeah, it still has an airbag, still has all the controls.
Yeah,
all that sort of
I
stuff.
need that. I'm sorry, I
that's
can't give
more-
it up. It's
And
a
like
deal
the
breaker.
core
the only time I've ever bought an aftermarket steering wheel was for the 240.
Yeah.
And the only time I've ever considered getting, like a quick release or like a tilt up thing was for the 240, because it's got this fucking ridiculous cage in it. I'm a big boy, and getting in onto that thing's kind of a bitch sometimes. So it's like, yeah, it would be nice to just, get into it easier and just be like, okay, yep, click on, good to go.
Yep.
We're in there now. Oh, I'm going to get out. I'm not smacking I literally am all bruised up after like every event, from like the steering wheel, the roll cage.
Is that 240 beating you?
Do you want to
Do we
talk
need
about
to
it?
talk about that, Joes?
I feel like we need to have.
We're
an
getting
inner
rid of that damn
bench.
car.
Yeah,
we're getting rid of that.
When we're
damn
done
car.
with this, we're
it hurt
selling
my
it
gels
for $19,000, and we're buying
Let's
a
go.
Sonata.
for 19.
Okay, and I
Trade
will.
it for a Kia.
I think my favorite thing, and then we can move past the steering wheels. because there are companies out there that are going out and they're like, we're gonna test some steering wheels for ads on Facebook and Google and stuff. And they're like, well, how do we test it? And I'm not calling any shade out to any brands. I just found this video
shade.
because I think it's funny.
It's
where it's
dark
like,
in here.
how do you test a steering wheel? And people are like, I don't know, drive on it, like park a wheel on it, and
go
show
put yourself
people
in danger.
show people that it won't bend. It's like, well. Is that like an accurate testing procedure?
Okay, here's the
it's
thing.
like the same wheel companies will be like, you want to see how tough our shit is? We're going to drop it off a roof. Like, that's cool. It's got shock factor, but that's not a
Oh, we did that a lot.
that's not a testing procedure. That's not going to tell you that it's a good wheel.
Well, I think for what it... I did it, so I'll fight you a little bit. I don't think the purpose
my
is...
idea.
Because everyone thinks if it's not made in Japan, that at the slightest impact, it will just blow up into a million pieces and it's done.
Yep.
And it's like, no, sledgehammer off a roof, throw it out of a car. That's the point of it. Yes, it's not realistic. That shit's not going to happen. It doesn't put the real stresses on. And of course, it's to get some engagement and attention. It's not, people aren't normally doing this, so it catches their eye. That's the point of it. But it was also to show, like, no, it's not necessarily just gonna fucking blow up at the slightest impact. But I don't know if you guys seen this. Donut Media, one of their videos, I think it was in Hilo, they're comparing the
ESR
steering wheels.
to the NKRPF one.
No. Well, they did that. But steering wheels, and they had a Nardi, and then they had some, I don't know what brand it was, cheap ass one. And Justin is his name, right?
Justin?
Shit.
Oh, God.
Zach?
Remember.
That's embarrassing.
Jeremiah?
One of them dudes. He walks up and he just pushes on it and completely folds the wheel. Like, I was like, God damn. Grabs the Nardi. Boom! Same thing. Instantly. Both of them just
Collapsed.
just with his big old strong arms. And I was like, hot damn. So I don't know what to do with that information, but I just felt like sharing it.
Okay, the thing is, like, at a certain point, everything's gonna fucking fail.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's the more
It's
realistic?
just what's the threshold though, right? Like you just talk about that, right? If a steering wheel is going to fail, where should its fail points be? The fail point should be not in a position that's going to cause your legs to get fucking like chainsawed off when you're going around a turn, right? The fail point would probably be like at the hub of something so that the whole thing breaks off. Like they do engineer these parts with those things in mind. Like when you go and you test
safety.
Yeah, when you go into testing a wheel, you can actually get a report back. It's a little like, I think it's called an FEA test or impact analysis.
Hey, you fucks his name is Justin. You made me feel like a dumbass idiot.
Finite
Sorry,
element.
Justin.
You just weren't confident in it.
Yeah,
I wanted to fuck with you.
I enjoy you, Justin, on the channel. I think you do good stuff.
wanna
Sorry,
say-
my friends made me question your name.
You want to say
questioned
Justin
it.
again?
I feel like you
Yeah,
should.
you questioned it
You're
too.
like,
well,
just
because
You did. There is
right,
something
all right.
called an FEA, which you can actually do, which will show you the stress points in a product, like a wheel or something like that. So you can actually see that if the wheel were to break on
It's
impact,
gonna break here.
It's going to break here and here and here and here. And companies
this amount
do
of impact.
And companies do that on purpose so that those points are the safest points that could break. So that's where it's like, what sort of testing is being done on steering wheels? It's the same thing with fucking harnesses, though, too.
is anyone testing fucking anything, or are we just buying chaos?
Yep, because it makes the ding sound and it gives me views on TikTok, so fuck it.
It's just like, I remember waking up one day, and this is me getting used to, like, relearning if brands are doing better than they used to be. But I was like, I saw the NRG making a big comeback with the ding quick release, and I'm like, you know, when I was 16 or 17, like, you bought NRG, you're buying, that was the eBay brand. Like, NRG was the eBay brand.
Right.
And now it's like everybody runs NRG. I remember having an argument last year about people talking about rotiforms being rep wheels. And then the person that was arguing with me about it had Rotas. And I'm like,
Dude,
They're always fucking Rotas.
it
so
is.
confused.
They're always Rotas.
Okay.
Rota's the original.
quick, yes.
Rota is the original, still to this day, 100% the rep wheel brand.
It is.
Yes.
It is like the most common one to get confused with a real wheel brand.
It is.
It
because,
is. Dude,
and their
why is
website
that?
says
I don't
that.
know.
And their
Okay,
website says
so-
that they're like, our wheels
I don't
are.
got reps. I got Rotas.
Real conversation I witnessed on the Focus ST forums. I'm not exaggerating this. I'm not making this up. I'm going to tell you it because it is imprinted in my brain forever. There was a car guy and a car gal talking on a comment section, and one is like, yeah, I think I'm going to try and save up and get some 1552s. And then the next person comments is like, yeah, I'm trying to save up and get my next set, but my next set, I want it to be real wheels. So I'm trying to get Rotas. And I could not believe what I was reading. How did they get the notoriety of being a real wheel brand?
It's not true. When
that's
Rota
so
used
funny.
to have it on their website in 2017, I still remember this. Rota had this on their website that said, our wheels are 20% different than any original design per the legal requirement stated as such. And then it had a hyperlink to something you could click that would take you to the legal document that said that in a patent that said we're 20% different.
That's literally what we just talked about. That was the percentage, 20%.
But it wasn't 20% different.
No, hell
The
no.
Rota grid was identical to a 15-inch old work wheel. I mean, it was, and I had Rotas on the Datsun. I remember because I bought them, and I'm like,
damn, got some real wheels.
I think these are reps because they're so cheap. And then I was like, these are supposed to be works. And I was like, oh, shit.
Damn it, I fell for it.
No, I had to look it up. Yeah, Rota grids are a T37 rep
Yeah.
for reference, not work. But
Okay.
I just had to double check. I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
It's been a while since I've seen Rotas. Have they died off? Do they still sell them?
I mean, they must.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
I
see a lot
I
of
don't-
Rotas
I
out
don't-
there
I
anymore.
don't sell Rotas. I don't
People
know.
are saving up to get them.
Yeah.
Apparently, people
Real
gotta
wheels.
people gotta save up to buy anything these days. Wheels,
Well,
wheels
yeah,
used-
everything's
They're
expensive.
rocking some Avid ones before they can ball up to the road.
It's like, is there an echelon of like up that entry? I feel like it's like J&C, right?
No,
Jay-
Ain't
down
even
here.
a thing anymore?
I think they are.
they're all
still
the
make-
same tier. I don't know why you're about to tier up these. They're all in the same pool.
I'm about to
They're
tear
all
up because
chilling
of
in the
this
kiddie pool,
conversation.
brother. They're all chilling in the kiddie pool.
Anyway.
Anyway.
So reps, steering wheels. You mentioned harnesses. That's a
Rep
good one.
steering wheels. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
talked about that one,
Yeah,
so I don't
we've
think we
talked
got to
about
go into
that.
it. Just don't buy harnesses unless you need them. If
And
you
if-
need them and they're for a purpose, great.
And if you do buy them, buy some good ones.
And then, yeah, because
And
they
mount it right.
expire also.
Yeah, they do expire. That is a thing.
The point of the
My
harnesses,
harnesses
is to
are
hold you in
probably
place and
well
save your
expired.
life. So it's probably worth spending.
That's the thing
extra
is like
money.
you start, and it's like you start talking like an old ass man at that point, though,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like
I know.
you start, oh well, you got to do this and this and this. So it's like, well, yes, helmets also expire, racing harnesses expire, seatbelts are supposed to be built a certain way so they don't crumple your spine. Roll cages are
Wait.
built with actual changes to their design so that they bend and that they don't
Question.
create a shrapnel that will go into your chest. Like, there's
Question.
so many things. What?
Question.
Yeah, what you got, bud?
This might be too deep.
Oh.
But if harnesses expire, why don't regular seatbelts expire?
Or do they?
Or do they? And we've been duped this whole time. Careful, Jerry, and your fucking 1990 Honda Accord.
If
Them
I were to-
seatbelts
if-
expired.
If I were to try to sound smart, even though I don't know the answer, is it because the amount of pressure that you're putting on like a racing harness, right? Because you're like accelerating, braking, you're essentially locking the steering, the harness.
Well,
so
then
much.
there should be the same thing to these track-oriented cars that are coming
That
out.
I would agree with. I'm surprised that there's not some sort of regulation on the seatbelts.
it can't. How different can that fabric be? And if so, it sounds like just a dupe to get you to buy more harnesses. Because once you buy a harness, you'd be good for life if it didn't expire.
It's like Apple.
Yeah, they just want you to buy another harness. I think that's it.
We gotta start testing some of this shit.
Yeah, we should definitely start testing it, like building a car of some kind.
We should
That'd
take
be
a
fun.
seatbelt, like me out of your Ferrari since it's already broken anyways, and then grab a harness and then like do a strength test on each to see if one breaks sooner than the other or there's some.
We could just like put it in between two trucks and just have a toe off
Yeah.
with it and see which one snaps.
You got a truck? You got a
Got
truck?
I got
trucks?
access to a truck.
I don't
Got
have
access to
access
two
or
trucks?
own a truck.
I got access to two trucks.
Damn.
But we can
Okay,
only
well,
but we
got
can
a guy.
only show one truck.
I don't know what that
Well, now
means.
you're getting weird about it.
Why are you starting to talk all cryptic now?
Yeah. Where you hiding?
We got 8 minutes left.
Okay.
Is it time for out of context?
Oh
No,
my
no.
God! I
I
thought
think
we
so.
got rid
I
of
Today's-
really hate.
Today's episode of Out of Context
Um,
is brought to you by MartiniWorks, which we'll be talking about
shit.
in future releases. If you guys have not yet heard, there's lots of really exciting things. You can check it out over at martiniworks.com. And if it's before April 15th of 2023, that site does not exist yet. Out of context. You ready?
No, I'm never ready for this.
Yeah.
Remember, the rules are simple. You must state your answer, and you only have one sentence to explain out of
Yeah,
context.
you remember that.
Yeah, you remember that, Alex.
All right, Dakota and Gels. First question of the night.
Okay.
J&Cs or Rotas on your car?
I knew this was gonna go to.
Rotas because
Rob
they're
wheels.
real.
JNC's because I can't afford Rotas.
If that gets clipped, God damn it. Oh shit, I'm fucked.
That will exist on the internet
Forever.
He's like, oh shit, I'm fucked.
It's a joke.
I'm gonna say one sentence. They are the same. Rota sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Rotas for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Gels or Dakota, what are your questions for the night?
Okay. Okay. Run replica wheels your entire rest of your life.
Yes.
Can be any replica wheel that you want, but it's a straight up rep. And it's a shit brand. Okay?
Bad.
Or only run the wheels that come on the car.
Only the wheels can't be other OEM wheels?
No, only the wheels that come on the car. The factory given wheels that were birthed and came out of the hips of Mama Toyota.
That one.
Or any brand.
I choose OEM.
I'm gonna choose
Wow.
I'm gonna choose OEM.
Whoa! I feel like that says a lot.
You can just
Say it like that.
I just wasn't expecting that answer. I got kind of hyped.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that one.
that's a good question.
I had to
I'm
think
really
of- I had to think of-
fucking
I was
good at
like,
this
I was really close to being like, nah, just give me the rep. But I was like, there's some good looking OEM.
There
wheels.
is. You'd almost have to pick out the
It's
car
like-
by the OEM wheels
I-
at that point.
Really, honestly, and like
It just kind of
space
secure. I
them
was
out
just
a little
thinking,
bit.
yeah, I was thinking about lowering it and
you could do
spacing it.
spacers. Yeah, there
paint
are
'em.
OEM wheels that can look really good that came on cars, but there's
honestly-
also really bad ones. too.
honestly, like with the Supra, like what you did, those
when you
spaced
take
them out.
when you take
and
the
you
milled
painted 'em,
shit off,
yeah.
they
They
actually
turned
look
out
all
pretty
right.
good.
They look all right. Well, like the Z, you can get rays.
Yeah.
They come on rays.
And like-
There's factory BBS wheels that came on
Enki.
Jettas.
Yeah,
Enki, everything.
Jettas,
Yeah.
Mark
wow,
IV Jettas.
that's incredible.
It was like a special version though.
Yeah, what version and trim option
I don't
at
know, it's
what?
probably
at
just-
what
How many
uncle's
of them were
cousin-
made?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was it. Someone's gonna fucking be the VW god here and just slap me in the face with knowledge, but I believe it was just an option. Like you just pay more to get that.
All right.
Otherwise, maybe it came on some GLIs because those came with like Recaros. and
Okay,
stuff.
Gels, your turn for a question.
That was not one sentence answers.
You gave all of that clarity.
I don't know what I said. I blacked out.
That was all you.
I blacked out for the last 3 minutes. All I know is you guys didn't say a one sentence answer to what I asked.
I gave you the answer. I
think
didn't need a one sentence.
I think
No.
I did. And then
You're
I
like,
just started.
yeah, well, I do spacers. I lower it. And then what?
Yeah, you're right. We fucked.
Yeah, we completely. And this
Okay,
is what happens.
Gels.
Oh man.
Would you rather have to fly everywhere and never jump in a car again, or
I'm not a big fan of flying.
always have to put new wheels on your car every single morning before you drive it for the rest of your life?
Fly. I can't afford to put new wheels on my car.
No, it's the same wheels. When you get done
Oh,
with the
you
night,
just have to
you
like,
take them off.
Take them off.
and then in the morning you got to
Get
put
home,
them
you
all
take
back
your
on.
wheels off.
Okay,
like you
I read
take your
that.
shoes off.
I read
and
that.
you gotta put your shoes on before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the last thing I'd want to
Yeah, I'll fucking
do
do
at
it.
the end of a long ass day is take my
I would-
goddamn wheels off.
Yes, I'd do it. I'd engineer some quick way to do it, and I'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just suck it up to it. I realize because I'm not a dude. Airports fucking suck.
Okay, that's
They're
one
annoying.
sentence.
You're right. You were right.
Man,
Well, Joe's, you got one yet or what? This is Joe's favorite segment. He
Mine
loves.
are always so stupid. I don't
They're all stupid.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
know.
point,
Yeah.
brother.
God damn it.
I want you guys.
Oh,
to
I got
answer
another
some of
one.
These in the comments. Too.
I got another one.
Yeah.
Would you rather look Rob Dom in the face and tell him rotaries suck,
Oh no.
or look at Adam LZ in the face and say S chassis suck?
Oh no.
Adam LZ.
Yeah, I think Adam would take it. Adam.
He was gonna explain.
Yeah, I was. It's so easy. It's like
Yeah,
so
I know.
hard
I know.
not to.
There's plenty. There's a million reasons on how to explain it, but you can't. You can't.
Okay. Good. Good on you.
Would you rather have to drive on dirt roads all the rest of your life, but they're like perfectly smooth, no like washboarding, no holes or anything like that? You have to wash your car a lot.
Right.
Dirt roads everywhere.
Chilling on a dirt road.
Or
Out here sitting on the front porch.
Every road is paved, but it's littered with potholes.
Dirt.
Dirt.
Dirt would be more fun. Oh, okay. That's all I can say. Sorry.
That's as good as I got.
Okay.
Would you rather?
It's my turn. You said like 80.
Well, because you guys take so long.
I was just saying it. Okay. Would you rather every time you park your car, even if it's in the garage, no matter where it is, every time you park it, a bird takes the biggest, nastiest shit right on the hood every single time?
Mm-hmm.
Or every time you get out of your car, you piss your pants?
I feel like
Give me the depends. I'm pissing my pants. I ain't wiping off no bird shit.
Hey!
I would say the bird shit. I don't want to piss my pants all the time.
The depends route. That was smart.
You gotta get the work around.
Yeah, just put it on right before you get out of the car.
Like, what are you doing? You're driving home.
Walking into the restaurant, you're like, Jules, you wearing a diaper? Yeah.
You will not believe what I had to choose between.
It's a lot more efficient, actually.
Oh my God,
Jesus
that's terrible.
Christ.
Okay,
Yeah, that was good.
I think
That was a good time.
Would you rather deal with a car that constantly overheats,
This seems
or
personal.
would you rather deal with a car that never has enough gas to get where you need to go every single
shit.
time you get in it?
Oh, that's a good one because it's basically the same outcome, sort of.
They're both anxiety inducing.
You're gonna fucking turn off the car before you get where you need to go. But I feel like there's
Context.
Man, I was just about to say some fire too. All right, we'll go overheat.
Go with run out of gas.
Nice.
I'm the type of well, okay, this isn't
We're done with the out of context.
okay. It's not even like to the question. I'm just the type of guy that like I feel like my car is empty at half a tank and I gotta go fill it up. I'm that type of person. So yeah, it would just
See,
You ever had to deal with an overheating car?
yeah, have you?
a little bit. Yeah,
Like detrimental. It's spiking. It's pegging into the red.
I've done it.
I've done it on a track, and I just keep going. till I get
It's
yellow
fucking
flagged.
terrible and it's annoying, but there's workarounds to get you a little further. You blast the heat for a while.
That doesn't help. That doesn't help when it starts
They
getting
say it
above
helps.
280.
But
It
just
doesn't
gets
help.
you
Well, I think in the
Now
beginning of it, if
your
you know-
anxiety's just getting hot.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and you're sweating.
It's already
Yeah.
hot, and
Okay,
now
all
I'm
right.
hot.
Well, yeah. I just don't like. Okay. All right.
If there was one thing you wanted to tell the viewers that are still left, one sentence you want to leave them with, Dakota and Gels, what would that one sentence be?
Easy.
Okay, Dakota, start.
It's a quote from I don't fucking know who, but it's important. It's good. It's good. I say so tearing up, honestly.
He's so fucking with us.
It's gonna be some bullshit.
Listen,
It's gonna be
guys,
some,
don't.
It's gonna be some fuck shit.
You're gonna feel bad. Pee-pee time, not always poo-poo time, but poo-poo time, always pee-pee time.
Beautiful.
Say that at my funeral.
All right, Gels, what you got? I don't know who said that. Lincoln?
It's probably Lincoln.
Probably Lincoln Logs.
Gels, you're gonna have to top that.
I can't top it.
You just give us a quote. Give us something.
Do an upper decker. That would top that.
Yeah.
Top, upper.
Get it?
Dakota,
trying too many
shut the
puns. I'm
fuck
trying
up
too many
so that
puns.
he can finish.
I don't know
his.
many quotes.
Make one up.
Yeah, make
What
up
do
make
you
up a
wanna
Gels quote.
I am bad at this.
There's someone listening to you right now, and you
Okay.
just give them some motivation. It doesn't need to be funny. It doesn't need to be educational. Just be whatever. Just get something off your chest.
Okay. The car will get done when the car gets done.
That
That's
was
okay.
good. I love that.
That was great. That was fantastic. That was
That was
killer.
more to me. But if it works for you, that's great.
I
too.
feel like most motivational quotes, most people that post that stuff, they're doing it for them. They're not
Yeah,
being like, hey, you
no,
need to hear this.
yeah.
Like, no, I need.
The
to
one I
hear
said
this.
was absolutely towards me. I hope other people can relate. But
I relate. Anyway,
This is all over the place.
hurry
I-
up.
I would just say you're doing great. Keep it up.
How do you even fucking know if they're doing great? They could be sucking. You don't know them. You can't see them right now.
And I'm pretty sure that providing them with pee-pee poo-poo directions isn't exactly putting them on the perfect path of success.
Listen, this is exactly what happened. I'm going to break it down for you real quick.
We are
I said
all
pee-pee
done
poo-poo.
with
They
the
smiled,
podcast for tonight.
Alex
Thank
said
you
his, they're like,
so much
"I'm not
for
doing
being a
great."
part of this
Fuck.
series. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. If there's one quote to take away from this entire thing,
Here
it's
it comes.
Gels.
Oh.
Gels' quote was the best.
Oh.
Dakota's was,
It's a bit subjective.
yeah, no, Gels' was objectively the best. I'd tell you the difference between subjective and objective with Dakota, but he doesn't
Put a
know
poll in the
difference.
comments. Let me know which one was the best. I'd
So
love to see it.
You can't manipulate.
I'm
the
not
group.
manipulating anything.
They're
I said
manipulating.
let the people speak.
Yeah, let
I
the
won't
people
say a
speak
word.
for Gels.
That's manipulating.
That was a little
That's
fucked up.
manipulating.
I'm fighting for Gels. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.